And if you look at basically the chapter 6 that Wakili was talking about, especially section 73.2, I think it talks so much about the guiding principles of a leader, or what leadership is all about. Now, if you look at that particular section closely, it talks about selection on the basis of competence and capability,
yes,
and suitability.
Yes.
And then you go further to talk about objectivity and impartiality in terms of decision making, not influenced by aspects like nepotism and the likes. And it talks so much also about selfless service. But I think the main thing, and I think he's alluded to that very well, and he's articulated that very well, is that the reality on the ground. And then questions start arising, especially when you look at now the current situation in terms of the statistics. And if you look at the statistics on the basis of corruption, perception, and so on and so forth, we see, for example, in the year 2024, I think Kenya had a score of about 32%, where 0 is most corrupt and 100% is very clean. And the question then we ask ourselves is that, why then, with all these institutions, with chapter 6 in place, why then do we have corruption perception index, for example, increasing as opposed to decreasing? Why then are we also, when you look at the average and comparing with other countries within East Africa, why is it that we are lower, and we are lower than the global average? Because I think the global average was about 43%. The East African average is about 33%. And what also struck me is that when you look at the amount that was talked about in terms of bribes,
yes,
rising from about 3,700 to about 4,800 or 4,900. So there's clearly a disconnect between having the institutions, having the chapter 6, and what is the reality on the ground. And I think that's a question then we need to ask. Is it a question of we are electing the wrong leaders, or is it that implementation has a challenge? I think there's a series of questions that we need to ask, because there's no reason why chapter 6 can be so well articulated. And I think the drafter did a very good job. And then we come and find on the ground, things are different.